Have you ever worked with family and friends, and what's your take on the subject?
I have actually, several times, and it's led to good and bad experiences.
So let's go through them both.
All right. Usually people say don't work with family or friends, like they advise against it. But when you're like a, let's say, junior designer, or even if you're a senior, and a friend or a family member or relative, they approach you for some design, you start thinking like, shall I accept it? Shall I not accept it? Because there's always a chance of things going sour and things leading to awkward situations with your friends and relatives.
And despite that, you wanted to experiment, maybe.
Yeah. So no, on one hand, like you want to benefit your friends and relatives, but on the other hand, you're scared that things might go bad with them, and you don't want that anything to ruin the relationship.
Yeah, the relationship.
So my experience with that, like the bad experiences I've had, most of them were results of miscommunications basically, or different expectations, like unaligned visions and things like that. Some of them led to awkward situations, definitely, but some of them were okay and we were over it. And I've also had good experiences working with some friends and relatives where everything went smooth and everything went perfect. What about you?
For me, actually, I had like a few interesting encounters, like with the friends. Once I've been asked to design artworks for engagement and shoot the wedding at the same time. So we didn't communicate that very well. We didn't agree on something tangible. I went to the shoot, and then I went back home and started designing the artworks for the engagement. And at the end, when I was asking for the payment, they didn't agree on the same term. So it went very awkward, and we started talking less after then. So this is how it went for me.
I've had situations where money caused awkwardness. Yeah, I've been there also. But like, as a conclusion, would you advise people to work with relatives and family and friends?
As an advice, like as a personal experience, I would not advise, but
Yeah.
it should be like based on better terms. They should have an agreement with them, and they should accept the budget that they're willing to offer them for the project.
Here's another tricky part about it, is that when friends and relatives approach you for work, they're trying to get like a better deal out of you. They're trying to get like a lower cost.
Or for free,
Or
something
for free sometimes, which is not fair for you. And this puts you in an awkward situation. Like, it's gonna make you think, oh, how much should I charge them? That's the toughest part, actually.
It's very tough, exactly.
My advice would be to not work with family, relatives, and friends. Refer them to another colleague or friend of yours. But if you decide to work with them, just make sure that you communicate everything, including the price, or even some would advise to treat them as a regular stranger. Give them like the full procedure that you give to strangers.
Exactly.
Even the full price. And at the end, if you want to be generous and give them some discount, you can do that.
I was like really generous for a few times with my relatives. I just gave them the project for free since it wasn't so demanding.
Yeah.
But some demanding projects, as you said, you should refer them to other professionals. It's the better way to do it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you do not want to ruin your relationships with your friends and your relatives.
Right.
And this goes out to friends and relatives of designers. Don't put your designer friends and relatives in awkward situations.
Yes.
I mean, don't come asking for big discounts or free work. Treat them as if they're any other service provider, like that you don't know, basically.
Value their work, their time,
Yeah.
that they are working for you, and not make you choose somebody else to do the job.
Yeah.
Which is like,
And
it's very important.
Yeah, and for both parties, agree in the beginning what happens if you guys have a disagreement. Like, talk about it in the beginning. What happens if you don't like the design that I create?
Exactly.
What shall we do? Discuss it in the beginning to avoid any awkward situations if you insist on working together.
We hope you like this episode, and stay tuned for more.
Subscribe for more design content.
See you next time.
See ya.